Well, howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys and girls, and welcome to this, another brand new day. Don't worry, yes, indeed. It's not centered. I should have gotten that centered before I turned on my webcam. There. I have on my lap a furry rodent. She's a sleepy furry rodent. She was just drinking because she had her eyes like half closed while she was drinking. She's a cutie, an absolute cutie. And it's absolutely amazing. I was just thinking about rodents and pets and the responsibilities we willingly take on as pet owners. There are some people that treat animals poorly and have pets and shouldn't, and sometimes they do it because it makes them happy to be cruel. Sorry about that, little one. But on the whole, most pet owners will gladly and happily take care of their pets to keep them happy and alive and, as happy as they possibly can be. Like with me, I want my rodents to be happy. I like hamsters. It makes me happy when they are happy, and it makes me sad when they are sad. So I want them to be happy so I can be happy too. And I like holding on to my furry rodents. And while they are not really fans of being picked up, they get used to it, which is really actually amazing that wild animals can get used to that and actually come to like touch and such. Since we have not bred domesticity into rodents. And rodents are an amazingly successful branch of mammalian life. 40% of all land animals, mammals, are rodents. So that's a lot of rodents. But I'm going to put her back in her cage. I just wanted to talk about hamsters and rodents and pets and stuff. Nothing profound, but she's a cutie. So I'm going to put her back now. Here we go, little one. Thank you very, very much. She was up and running around. She is one of those that doesn't really have well, my shirt's bugging me today. Every day. She doesn't have any set sleep schedule like the other hamsters. Mostly she's like out in the light and it doesn't seem to bother her with the light on up like that. She doesn't have a lid, and while she can go into darkness and safety, she doesn't. She just stays out, but sleeps anyway. So, thumbs up. She's odd, and I like her a lot. She's a little bear, little dog bear. They look like dogs and they look like bears. Tiny, of course, so thumbs up. Definitely a good thing. Now though, the thing that I wanted to talk about. It is amazing how, given time, you can look back and see things because you have the distance of time. But of course, what's happening to you currently is so much more difficult because you're right in the middle of the forest. You don't have the benefit of time and the aerial satellite view to be able to get a bigger picture. When I was very, very young, I've mentioned before how I started drinking alcohol like before I was 10 years old because I had physical abuse from my grandfather. He communicated to me through his belt, and I look at almost exactly like my grandfather. My mother, all the way up through her life, was just saying, "You look exactly like my dad." And from my memory of him, what I remember of him is he had short, thinning hair, and his glasses. He didn't have a beard, but yeah, my facial structure, I look almost exactly like him. But there was that. Then there was sexual abuse from my mother's second husband, who ended up cheating on her, and divorce and oh joy. But I was, while not drinking all the time, drinking regularly all the way from 8 maybe? 8, 7 onward. Excuse me. So I started drinking at a very early age, and by the time I was in high school, I was a functional, not actually dependent, but I was drinking all the time by that point. And by the time I was out of high school, I was really drinking. And I went straight, well, not straight, I had about a year's period, because when you got accepted into the armed services in the Air Force, it took, well, in the United States, it takes time for things to happen. So I went in at this point, and when it was almost a year later by the time that I was actually going through the physical process. So there was a very short period of time between high school and going into the Air Force, very short, but then I was in. I wasn't drinking, of course, during basic training, and I didn't drink through the beginning part of tech school until we could start going to the club and drinking and such like that, and then I did again. But afterward, I spent just a few years bumming around, and then I got a job in 1989, because I got out in 1983? No. I went in 80, it was 80, I can't even remember the year now. I think it was 1984, 86. No, I went in 82, so it was 86. God's above my brain. Thumbs up for that. And in 1989, I got my job as a nurse's aide. So I spent my time just wasting time, because I'd saved up a tiny bit of money and was living with my parents. And then I moved out and started working as a nurse's aide and did all that, drinking, of course. But the benefit of time in looking back, I can see, because of everything that was happening in my life, the beginnings of my social anxieties. Because when I was in the Air Force, at my first year and my first posting, I went out and I talked to people, and I was part of a role-playing group. And so, every week we got together, like Saturdays or whatever, at the place on base, and then we played a big role-playing game, a whole bunches of us. When I got to Germany and got my first computer, a VIC-20, that was amazing, a big change in my life. But that was not a strong enough computer, and so I traded that one in for a Commodore 64. I started dropping out of playing role-playing games and playing more and more just computer stuff. This was slow. I was still going off and doing things with friends, and while I was in Germany, it's just more and more I was getting involved with computer things and spending more time just playing with my computer. When I got into my last base in Florida, I was spending 99% of my time just playing with my computer, drinking and playing with my Commodore 64. When I got back, and those few years I was bumming around, I was able to go out and talk to people and get jobs and do things, but while still going out and getting involved in some role-playing groups, I was slowly drinking more and more and withdrawing more and more. To the point I didn't go out and play role-playing games anymore. I just stayed home with my computer and drank. And then the 90s came around. And all I did, except for a brief shining period, when I worked at this one nursing home and we had a fair amount of people there and I started doing acid. That actually got me involved in being social with other people and being friends with other people and doing things with other people. All drugs and such are not bad. Do not do acid. Just street acid. I'm not going to advocate for the use of any drug because I don't want to get my channel demonetized and all that, but I took acid like candy during the mid-90s, and then when my friends scattered and things fell apart at work, I was back to just only playing with my computers and drinking, and it got tighter and tighter and tighter until the year 2000, when that's all I was doing: working, drinking, computer. Drinking and my computer were all together the same thing. So it was working, drinking, and that's it. So when I went into rehab and came out, my social anxieties were pretty set in stone by that time, and getting bad. Because even though I was still getting involved with things, I didn't want to go and talk to anybody, especially after coming out of rehab, when I felt like I was just totally broken, damaged goods. I was inhuman, a broken monster, etc., etc. Things were not going well inside my head. So getting married was both good and really bad. I mean, it was really, really good because it got me out of my head dealing with my wife. And the bad part was, of course, she spent 10 years of our 12-year marriage dying before dying just a few days after our 12th anniversary. So that was rough. And certainly the fact her getting sick and our just getting a tighter and tighter orbit, ignoring the outside world, didn't make that part any better. So even though I'm getting better, I am recovering from my depression, I am recovering from the death of my wife, I am recovering from a lot of things. I still have to deal with the death of my mother a little over a year ago, and I've got way too much emotional stuff on my plate for that right now. But even though these things are getting better, my social anxieties are not new. They were just more generalized and unformed when I was younger. But yeah, the minute I had my computer and a reason to start withdrawing, I immediately started withdrawing. 21 years old, and I started withdrawing from the world because people are just scary. And so even now, that's why it's difficult, really, really hard to even just make phone calls to talk to people. My social anxieties are still really hard. They're a lot less than they were, but they're still so strong. I mean, I can get out. I go walking. I go to stores. I'm able to buy things. I talk to the people behind the counters and stuff like that. So I'm able to deal with people. You know, I can go to restaurants. When I'm walking and people walk by me on the street, you know, I'm a little tense, but if they say hello, I can say hello and things are good. You know, I'm not totally withdrawn from society, and I'm trying to do my very best to get involved with society. But because my social anxieties are such a part of me, I don't think that I'll ever be able to get rid of them entirely, because unfortunately a lot of our stuff, while also cultural and social and that stuff, is we're wired in certain ways. Like when people have fibromyalgia or other autoimmune diseases, that's something that's unfortunately written into your DNA. And I wonder about things like the social anxieties, because I picked up anxieties and just the generalized anxiety, not anxieties, generalized anxiety for anxiety attacks and panic for panic attacks because of my alcoholism. As I got closer and closer to my death point, right around the year 2000, I had things that were getting worse. My panic attacks were getting worse all the time. My migraines, which were getting more and more frequent and worse, were happening more and more frequently and worse. And so things were coming to a head. I was damaging my biochemistry very badly. Now, in the 19 years that I have been sober, with the occasional fall, but the shame is not in falling, the shame is in not getting back up. I have remained, out of the 19 years, it has been like 18 years and 6 months I've been sober. So the 6 months of falling, not bad. That's cumulative, not all at once. So I've gotten all of that, but now I've got to try and remember what I was trying to say on that one. I know I was talking about oh yes, my migraines have largely gone away. Now I get maybe 1 or 2 a year instead of 1 or 2 every week. My panic attacks, I no longer have panic attacks. I get the occasional generalized anxiety attack, but even then, not that bad. My social anxieties were from before my alcoholism. Well, except that's not even true. It was, remember, I was even talking from, wow. how much of it is and how much of it isn't. How much of it is hardwired and how much of it is biochemical damage, because that's what I'm also talking about. I damaged my biochemistry with my alcoholism, which caused all those horrible things to happen. I'm not over the generalized anxiety yet. I still occasionally get migraines, but the panic attacks are gone. So maybe the social anxieties will keep getting better? Or is that hardwired? It may be hardwired, I don't know. But I just wanted to sort of let people know what's going on with my social anxieties and why it's so hard for me to make even just the phone calls that I need to make. I know the death of my wife and all that is really tied into it as well, so there's still a lot to unpack. But it 90-degree turn, hope you had your seatbelt on, no warning, and an inability to speak English, but I've opened a 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank 20 to 25 people for having left me a comment. Not reading the comments right now, I'm going to read them later. Thumbs up each one I can, answer as many as I can. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. I'm an American English speaker, and it's a range of 20 to 25, because even though I count American Sign Language, I'm terrible memory. 1000% better than I used to be, getting better all the time, but not good. So, some guy named Jamie, thumbs up and thank you very much. And Nalu G, greatly appreciated. Ollie B, thumbs up and thank you. Ben Dedonker, thumbs up and thank you very much. Underscore Meludis Crow, underscore, I sure hope I'm close, but I'm not sure. Mark Hammond, greatly appreciated. Kathy Kisscat, thumbs up and thank you. MLG Dog 274, thumbs up and thank you very much. Confused Owl 29, thumbs up and thank you. And Deacon Sizemore, thumbs up and thank you. Krythos with an underscore, or not an underscore, but I can't tell what language that is, but thank you very much. Dalmiro Solis Farclas, thumbs up and thank you. Boo Heist, greatly appreciated. Thinking Emoji, greatly appreciate. Sebastian Ferris, thumbs up and thank you. Mason Meme, greatly appreciated. Captain Redclaw, thumbs up and thank you. Alive Too Long, greatly appreciated. The Biscuit Man with a whole bunch of letters instead of digits, thumbs up and thank you. Greatly appreciated. And then we have Russian Timing, thumbs up and thank you. David Aberg, greatly appreciated. Connor, thumbs up and thank you. We have Marcus. I see here I'm lost. I don't know. I'm going to do 3 again. 23, thumbs up, and Dog, greatly appreciated. And Stefan A. Burdick, greatly appreciated. I haven't seen Pandora NYC1 in my comments for a while, so I sure hope nothing's wrong. I get worried. I get used to names, and then when they vanish, it bothers me, and I worry. So I sure hope everything's okay. Thumbs up. And hey, if you can check out my various links, I have Twitter, Facebook, GoFundMe, Patreon.com, NearlySeniorCitizen.com. If you could donate to my GoFundMe campaign, or become a Patreon.com patron like one of these beautiful and awesome people. That would be beautiful and awesome. But if you cannot donate, or you simply do not donate, I do take all good wishes and deposit them in the bank of my heart where I draw interest. Oh, if you could donate to my GoFundMe campaign or become a Patreon.com patron, really and for honest, I am going to be in a world of hurt here really soon. I need all the help I can get. So if you could, it'd be awesome. If you could toss me a like, I do appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. Definitely a thumbs up. And if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be very cool. Greatly appreciated. I would understand if you did not wish to, but if you were down with it, I will do my very best to keep you entertained from now until the literal end of time. A very good thing. Definitely a thumbs up. Well, holy smokes, look at the time. I got less than a minute left. So I got this video. I have a game video I have to edit and render. I'm going to be working on a song mutilation for tomorrow. Definitely a good thing. So 2 videos today. Again, I'm trying to take it easy on myself to see if having more free time isn't painful. So that's why I'm trying this out, just for up here. You take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, my friend, and that is a very good thing. Did I already say that part?